Good evening and welcome to Crossroads. Folks, the 2023 White House Correspondents Dinner was just held in Washington. Something interesting on this. This is a unique event. The news media isn't technically under state control in America, at least not yet. Yet the annual White House dinner tends to give a pulse on the state of the news industry. President Joe Biden gave some strong words on the importance of truthful media, but also gave some strong warnings about the threats of a dishonest press. Watch this.
Truth matters. As I said last year at this dinner, a poison is running through our democracy and parts of the extreme press. Truth buried by lies, and lies living on as truth. Lies told for profit and power. Lies of conspiracy and malice, repeated over and over again, designed to generate a cycle of anger, hate, and even violence. But I've also made it clear, as I've seen throughout my life, it's within our power, each and every one of us, to preserve our democracy. We can, we must, we will.
So, is there a poison running through our democracy, as Biden calls it? Is it also running through the extreme press? And what is the extreme press? Who makes that definition? Well, regardless, Biden seems to think so. And to defend the American system, or the republic, or our democracy, as he says, is something going to need to be done to stop this alleged threat. Now, of course, Biden says something important as well. He said that truth is being buried by lies, and lies are living on as truth. The problem from a political level, though, is who decides what truth is, and what happens to the threat to democracy who go against the established truth. Now, the sad reality, not just for America, but for the world in the information age, is that much of what's often shown in both sides of the political establishment are half-truths. And the danger we're now facing as a society is that when the other half is only shown, it's often painted as dangerous conspiracy for the other side, or as a threat to the system. Take, for example, the accusation that former President Donald Trump allegedly took home classified documents. Now, do you remember how that turned out? Comedian Roy Wood Jr. mentioned this during the Correspondents' Dinner as well. Let me show you.
I don't know about y'all, but for me, the easiest scandal to follow was the Trump document scandal. That was the one that was easy to follow. It was simple. It's some stuff that's supposed to be in the White House that ain't. And the media, y'all did y'all's job. Y'all jumped on that story. As soon as the Trump document story broke, everybody was down at Mar-a-Lago. We're reporting live from the documents, and we're gonna find them. And then we found out Joe Biden had documents too, and it was like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Everybody got documents. Everybody got documents. Mike Pence has some documents. Who cares about it? Oh, look, a Chinese spy balloon. Would you look at that?
The point he raised was important. Yes, Trump had classified documents at his home. It's still being determined whether they were there illegally or not. These are facts. Much of what the media pushed on this scandal, they said it was a threat of the century, many of them. Yet when it was found that Joe Biden also took home classified documents, including when he was a senator, the story basically disappeared from the airwaves. So was it really such a big scandal? And if so, why did the partisan news outlets seem to lose interest as soon as the political value disappeared? This goes back to that problem of half-truths. The half-truth served a political purpose, but the full truth did not. It's issues like this that make people question whether today's news media is actually interested in reporting the full truth, or whether it's just something serving a political role, as we saw with that. And then there's the bigger question of whether the media is being manipulated by politics.
Well, the truth is, we really have a record to be proud of. Vaccinated the nation, transformed the economy, earned historic legislative victories and midterm results, but the job isn't finished. I mean, it is finished for Tucker Carlson. What are you wooing about like that? Like you think that's not reasonable? Give me a break.
You think that's not reasonable? Well, the glee of journalists losing their voice is being applauded by other journalists. The president also appears to be celebrating this. Now, of course, keep in mind, this is not necessarily partisan either. Trump similarly criticized the press and also celebrated the failures of news outlets that were critical of him. I mean, I've also been guilty of this in some cases, but the firing of Tucker seems to be different for some reason. We still don't know the full story of why he parted ways with Fox News. Let's be clear on that. Public statements really have kept it pretty vague. But what we do know is that shortly after leaving, Tucker posted a video on Twitter that currently has over 23 million views. He really struck a chord with the nation. And what he spoke about are the problems in the media political establishment, and interestingly, the very issue of truth. Watch this.
The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail.
What we're really debating as a society is what truth is. Who should determine what is true? And also whether truth that contradicts set narratives should be permitted by the state. That's really what we're talking about. It comes down to the idea of whether truth is powerful enough to expose disinformation, as they call it, or whether actual truth is more important than convenient lies. But truth is powerful. The legacy of human philosophy tells us this, and the annals of history also show it. Tucker also noted this in the Heritage Foundation speech shortly before he left Fox.
But there's in one case someone who I made fun of on television, and certainly in my private life in vulgar ways, who was really the embodiment of everything I found repulsive, who in the middle of COVID decided, no, I'm not going along with this. And once you say one true thing and stick with it, all kinds of other true things occur to you. The truth is contagious. Lying is, but the truth is as well. And the second you decide to tell the truth about something, you are filled with this, I don't want to get supernatural on you, but you are filled with this power from somewhere else. Try it. Tell the truth about something. You feel it every day. The more you tell the truth, the stronger you become.